Hello and welcome to Reddit Story Saturday. I'm your host Nick, and today's episode is all about awful people. Just horrible people. Whether it's horrible husbands, horrible boyfriends, horrible bosses, whatever it may be, we're talking about all of it today. So if you're interested, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you're new, and after you're done with this, make sure to check out some other Reddit stories if you're interested. But let's go ahead and get started with our first story. This first story comes from r/relationship advice. Girlfriend, 27 female, hasn't talked to me, 25 male, in 2 days after driving incident. We're both grad students at a local high school with roads running throughout. Cars and bikes share the road, and cars aren't meant to overtake cyclists on campus. I was running late a few days ago and tried to overtake a cyclist. I know I shouldn't have, but I thought there was plenty of room and it would just be the one time. The cyclist turned out to be my girlfriend. She was really mad, yelling about how do I drive like a loser and terrified her like I'm going to kill somebody doing that. Hasn't talked to me since. How do I fix this outside of promising to be a more considerate driver, which I have already done via text, but she has chosen to ignore? Oh, you're an idiot. Oh, you're an idiot. Um, I am one of those guys where I fully believe that you know, sometimes when you choose to do wrong, it always gets you at the worst point. It never it's never when it's convenient life gets you back. It always gets you back in an annoying spot. And so of course it's the one time you choose that, oh, I'm just late this once. I'm only gonna do it this one time so I can be there on time. And then that's the time it happens to be important. Um what do you say? It's been a few days. Oh, it's been 2 to 3 days. Now, he did this. The OP didn't tell us how long they've been dating. Um, if they had only been dating for a couple of months, I'd assume that she's probably done with you. I don't think it goes any further out past that. If this has been less than a year for sure, more than a year, you might be able to just off of history if she's driven with you before enough. Um, but I'm judging based off of the post that you're making and off of the circumstance. I'm pretty sure you're probably new to dating, and yeah, I don't think this goes any further. Um, you've already apologized, um, and I doubt she wants to see you. Um, let's check some comments and see what insight some of our comments have. First comment: yes, that is your ex now. You made a decision that could have gotten somebody or both of you killed. You literally could have killed her. You deserve to be dumped. Yeah. I mean, and that's probably what's going on in her head is like, you almost killed me, and all you can say is, I'm sorry. I'll be a better driver next time. Yeah, no, I mean, I don't blame her for not wanting to talk to you. Second comment. So you did something that could have put her in danger, but if it wasn't her, it would be okay because it doesn't actually affect you. She told you it scared her, and your comments clearly show you haven't attempted a real apology. Of course, someone who wouldn't be accepting of someone who just scared the ever living daylights out of them. I think your relationship's probably over and you just haven't realized it yet. Has she ever passionately brought up about not passing bikers before? How often does she actually bike? How close are you really close to her? You clearly saw that the roads are small and they're hilled, so you shouldn't be passing at all at the danger of another car coming head on or the bike losing control. If they're not all yes questions to most of these things, then you shouldn't be passing and you should be trying even harder to apologize. She's probably grossed out at your failure to think another human before yourself. Yeah, man, I think that's as far as this goes in her situation. I think that your relationship is over strictly because you could have gotten her killed, you could have gotten yourself hurt, and this was all in the name of trying to be in class because you're still grad students. You're trying to be in class. It's not like, oh, I'm late for work and it's incredibly important and I really didn't have it. No, it just looks like it was just negligent on your end. And the comments brought up a good point too of like, mm, if you've only texted her, if texting her is the only thing you've done to reach out to make sure that she's okay and that your situation is fine, I'm like, then I don't think you've truly tried hard enough yet. I don't think you've put in enough time. Um, we don't have an update, so I assume that his relationship was definitely over, and he just hasn't come back to tell any of us about it, which I don't blame him. Nobody wants to talk about it, but yeah. Um, there is one comment from him. One commenter asked, "Have you actually apologized in real life to her face?" And an OP said, "I tried when she was yelling at me immediately after, but she wasn't really receptive." So you're stupid. You really are stupid. So you're trying to the only real life apology attempt you made was right after you made the mistake, and not that afternoon or that evening after school or the next day. Yeah, 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 it looks like you just killed your relationship. Yeah, 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 you messed up, buddy. All right, but that's all we have for our first story. Let's go ahead and take a look at our next story. Am I wrong for refusing to tell my roommate that I could hear her moan? I, 27 male, live in a three-bedroom apartment and I shared it with two roommates. One of the roommates moved out, and my other roommate, 29 female, took over that room. It is bigger. I've had very bad experiences with roommates. I could sit for hours talking about the horrors of it. When our roommate moved out, we decided we could wait with the renting the new room until we find someone really good. We just split the rent until then. The vents in our apartment made it so I could hear what happened in my roommate's room. She thinks she has her bed literally below. I have never been in her room, and she's not a loud person, but yeah, I can hear it. At first, I was embarrassed, but I decided not to tell her because I didn't want to make it awkward, and then she would move out. She's extremely shy. Then I would lose literally one of the best roommates I had ever had. She's clean, quiet, and we barely even see each other because she mostly keeps to her room. She makes the best food too, and she's generous enough to just leave some for me in the fridge when she knows I have exam periods. I don't want to risk it. When my girlfriend was visiting, I made the stupid decision to tell her. She went berserk calling me a butthole for cheating and threatened to tell her. And I'm very sure she would die of embarrassment and leave. I don't care what she does in her room. We are neighbors. I have never gone to my neighbors to tell them that I can hear them moan. For me, that's a violation. Obviously, temporary account for privacy reasons. Okay. So OP can hear into his roommate's room. And so in this moment he's like, "Oh, I'm trying not to say anything so that way it isn't a problem." And I'm like, "Okay. I don't think OP's wrong at all for not telling the roommate. You know, that's his business." He said, "She hasn't talked about it. There's no reason to talk about it. I'm not doing anything with that information. I'm not sharing, I'm not doing all that much." I think you messed up when you brought it up to your girlfriend. When you told your girlfriend about what was going on, I think that's when it truly exploded. Um, because that's a lot for her to just immediately like go in and saying that she's cheating, or that OP's cheating, when all that he said was, "Yeah, the way the rooms are built, I can hear her in her room." But also, it's like, what did you say? Did you tell her specifically that you hear her moan in her room? Because then that's crazy. That's a crazy thing to say to somebody. It's not cheating, but that's just a crazy thing to say to somebody. Um, no, I think, in the regards of refusing to tell your roommate, I don't think that's refusing. I think more so that's just you chose not to. Um, I would have told my roommate. I wouldn't have said anything about that. I would have just been like, "Hey, I don't know if you could tell or if you were aware, but if you are like on the phone on your bed or talking to somebody, I can hear it because of the vents, and I hadn't heard anything important. I just heard that you were on the phone, so I put my headphones on, but I just wanted to make you aware that if you were talking about something, as you're having a private conversation or something that you didn't want me to hear, just keep in mind that that's just the way the room is built. That's what I would have done, and I think that would have cleared up half the problems, and it wouldn't have caused issues. But, OP talks a lot about the roommate being shy and not wanting to talk, but I think OP's probably the same way. OP probably just keeps to his room and doesn't say anything, doesn't do anything, just comes out to use the shared commodities and then just goes back in his room. Um, yeah, but there's a red flag with his girlfriend. I don't know what it is yet. I don't know if I don't know if it's control issues. I don't know if she's been cheated on before and she's thinking that way. But I think there's just something wrong with the whole girlfriend. That's for her to immediately explode means that there's something going on there. There's something going on. Um, Real quick, let's read a couple of comments. First comment, um, commenter asks, "How is that cheating? What the world?" And then somebody responds to that saying, "Your girlfriend wants you to be unkind to your roommate so she can feel the warm secondhand glow of making another woman feel terrible." Um, and then somebody else also responded to that saying, "Your girlfriend's insecurities are really showing. This is just the reality of having housemates. She's a really good roomie. If I only had a dime for any time I had a male roommate blow a gasket in a bathroom." Um, yeah, I mean, yeah, like I said, just off of what I heard, and he's probably not sharing it all, but I think there's something going on between him and his girlfriend that he's just not admitting for everybody else. Um, Luckily though, we do have a little update, so let's read this update. So I thought a compromise would work, so I texted my girlfriend that I would speak to my roommate and tell her about the funny thing. I realized that the vents are leading sounds from her room, and I thought I should tell her. My girlfriend answered, "Or you could just tell her the truth. Why beat around the bushes about it? Why her feelings matter? Because we share an apartment, and I don't want to be awkward between us. Since she's been a good roommate and she's very shy, I don't want to make her uncomfortable." Girlfriend says, "So her feelings are worth more than mine? Got it." OP then says, "I told her no and said that I told her to stop for real or she will. No playing around, just tell her the truth or she will. I will tell her the truth or we are over." So I told her, "If you tell her the truth, we are over." And that's all we get. Wow. Um yeah, this guy's girlfriend is nuts. Yeah, this guy's girlfriend just needs to go. And I'm pretty sure that this is just like insecurities about she's worried about what's going on between the two of them and what he thinks about her. Yeah, that isn't going to go anywhere. Um, I'm 98% sure that OP is going to tell his roommate about it anyway. But even if OP hasn't done it yet, I would tell my roommate, don't just tell her, "Hey, this, that, and the other." You don't have to tell him everything, but just like, "Hey, I can hear you talking in your room through the vents, and I just wanted to let you know." And then he just needs to get away from this girlfriend. This girlfriend is incredibly controlling, incredibly manipulative, especially when she's trying to throw lines like, "So your feelings are worth more than mine." It's like, all right, she's trying to just do whatever she can to really get into you and to really stop you from what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, that's an easy cutoff. Like, no, I'm sorry, we're done. And I hope OP did that. We don't have any more updates after that, so hopefully OP realized what's going on and just fixed it from there. All right, let's get to our next story. All right, this was posted on AITA. Am I wrong for punishing my girlfriend for not coming to my wedding? I got married last weekend at my parents' house, which has been in my family for generations. For health reasons, only immediate family were there. My daughter, 16 female, had been calling her stepmom, 21 female, names like homewrecker and prostitute, and I have been patient with her. She assumes I left her late mother because she had breast cancer. However, I did not leave her mother for having cancer. No one decides to have cancer. However, her late mother Her late mother kept using her illness to devalue me and my sense of identity. She criticized the way I was taking care of her, and even stuff like my hygiene or cologne I was wearing. She made me feel worthless and felt like she was projecting her own insecurities by saying the smell of my cologne was disgusting because she never made an effort to keep herself up, despite the fact that I objectively found her disgusting sometimes. I stuck by her until my self esteem was destroyed. I would work hard closing deals all day and be acknowledged for my efforts at work. Yet I go home and she'd criticize and nag about every ounce of my being. I met her stepmom when I was in a dark place. She made me feel like I could be myself again. My wife made me feel unattractive, and with my new wife, I felt alive. Just the fact that she appreciated me and felt physical chemistry with me made me want to do anything for her, want to provide for her. That's when I decided not to hang out with my wife anymore and file for divorce, since my daughter's relatives from her mom's sides had been poisoning her against me. Um, Last weekend, when I and her stepmom went to the site of the wedding early, we expected to see her drive to the wedding later. But instead, she ended up going to stay with her aunt. Everyone asked where she was, and there was chaos from my side of the family locating her. As punishment, I took her car and allowance away, and I've taken her phone away until I feel like she can learn to be respectful towards someone I very much love. And that will be impossible for her to do that if she keeps having to hear from her late mom's side of the family. My parents have called and said I've been too harsh. However, even when things are tough, I cannot feel I let a child of mine believe that they can do whatever they want. Am I wrong? Oh, oh, this guy's horrible. Oh, he's a horrible person. Um, okay. Um, before we even get to his decision making, let's just talk about age dynamics. Okay, this guy has been married to his original wife, and they have a 16-year-old daughter. So I assume that they've probably been married. If their daughter's 16, you're talking about being married probably 17, 18 years. If they got married before the baby, so you're talking about. I'm just making rough estimates. This guy's probably in his late 30s, early 40s, maybe even 50s. This guy's a little older. I'm gonna say he's probably in his 40s, just basing off of ages of stuff. He's probably in his 40s, and his new girlfriend that he's marrying is 21 years old. Um, that is, I mean, just speaking from the daughter's perspective as a 16-year-old girl, how on earth are you supposed to call somebody stepmom who is who is 5 years older than you? This is the equivalent of being in the building where you're a freshman in high school and your stepmom is a senior. It's like that levels of close. No wonder the daughter is feeling the way that she does. And he's talking about how it's the late mom side of the family that's pushing this. I'm like, I don't think so. I think the problem is that she is old enough and she can realize and identify that, well, this chick is way younger than my dad and way younger than mom, and she's only slightly older than me. Dad's almost dating someone my age. You know, yeah, I don't blame the daughter for feeling the way that she does. Um, you as OP, there are stories where you can tell like whether or not somebody is just an awful person based off of how they're writing. Um, here and he says it, and he leaves it in its own spot too. Like it's in its own paragraph. He says, "I did not leave her mother for having cancer. No one decides to have cancer." And then for the next paragraph, just goes into detail about saying that he was going to leave her because she had cancer. I mean, things like saying that he objectively found her disgusting. I'm like, the poor woman has had cancer, and it was probably tearing her up. Um, and I know it's hard. It is not easy. It just cancer can destroy an entire family. It can. But in this situation, instead of using it to get together closer with your family and your wife's family and your daughter, instead of using it to tie yourself together, you decided that you just got fed up and just jumped ship. And already off the bat, I don't think that you have enough empathy for other people. If you can, in this case, the wife that you were married to for pushing 15, 20 years, if you can throw her to the wayside because you've met the newer, slimmer, younger model, that's a little bit of a concern. You know, that's concerning for you to be able to say, yeah, yeah, I'm willing to throw that away because she's mean to me. That because she's probably got all these things going on and she's letting her anger out on me. So I'm just gonna walk away from it. That's crazy. And that's the other thing too, is that this is cheating. Um, because yeah, he meets the new chick, and they had he says that he felt physical chemistry with her, and that she appreciated, and they talked, and you know and that was before they filed for divorce and they split. So yeah, I mean, no, you cheated on your former wife while she had cancer to go be with the younger, slimmer model. That's what you just said. You just said that you don't care and you were willing to jump ship because you don't want to deal with it. Um, and then to turn around and to ground the kid because she wasn't at your wedding because she doesn't want to be. Why would I want to be at your wedding? You know, I don't like this person. I'm not liking you. You know, this poor girl is going to graduate high school, move out, and you will never see her again. She is going to um she's going to move on past you, and she's gonna push you out of her life. When you get old and there's no one to take care of you, she's gonna be like, I don't care. Do what you want with them. Um yeah, no, you are an awful person. There is so much going on. And he's like, "Oh, well, her whole family's after me." I'm like, "No, because you cheated on your wife and you found somebody new while she was still going through that stuff." So yeah. Yeah, I think you're pretty bad. Let's read a few of these comments. You're the problem. You cheated on her mother. Regardless of the situation, that is what she sees. She doesn't know your marriage problems. All she knows is that you left mom for another woman. On top of that, you're marrying said woman when your 16-year-old daughter is still trying to deal with the passing of her mother. Of course, she didn't want to go. You're wrong for not trying to be more understanding of your daughter, for trying to force her and then punishing her. Edit, um, edit on that too. Also, hold the phone. Somehow, I completely missed that your new wife is 21. That makes it worse. She's only 5 years older than your daughter. They're close in age, and you're still confused about her behavior. Holy cow! I can't even. Absolutely. I mean, let's be real. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head. And I mean, yeah, to force a 16-year-old to go to the wedding of their stepmom, right after the passing of their birth mom, it's rough. That's a rough deal. Like, I don't think anyone can deal with it, let alone like a teenager going through a whole lot. Somebody responded to that comment saying the new wife is probably a gold digger. He said that she made him want to provide for her. Like, what? Um, I want to go back and see if he said anything about what he does. Um, I would work hard closing deals all day and be acknowledged for my efforts at work. So him closing deals means that he either works in the automotive industry or something where he's getting commission, or he probably works in higher financing, which means he probably gets paid a lot of money. He's probably got a six-figure salary. Um, yeah. No, she probably is around for money. That's ridiculous. That's crazy that he's holding the That's crazy that he's holding that expectation on his daughter, not being considerate of what's going on in her life. Here's another comment. Oh wow, poor guy. Working like everybody else without the appreciation of his jerky, cancer-stricken wife. Your hygiene directly impacts the health of someone with a comprised immune system. But who cares about a comprised immune system when you closed deals all day? It must really suck for you that the chemicals killing the cancer in her body changed her sense of smell and her ability to tolerate your cologne. That must have been like super hard for you. You're a problem. Give your daughter back her stuff and go get some counseling. Absolutely. Um, and that's I didn't even think about that. Yeah, it's like he's over here talking about how, oh, she's degrading me and she's treating me a certain way, and she probably wasn't even she probably couldn't even be that bad. She probably could literally just be like, no, that smells bad right now, because it is different when you go through chemo. It changes your body in multiple ways, and so for her, you know, she may be like you may think that things are normal and like she used to be. I'm like, no, 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 no. It's a different person in there right now who's going through this. One more comment. You're the problem. This reads like you cheated on your wife while she was dying of cancer, and now you're punishing your daughter for having a problem with it. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Um, we got nothing else from this OP, which I'm not surprised. No comments, no responses. Yeah, I he found out fairly quickly that he's a problematic person, and that is so crazy to me that not only would you cheat on your wife with cancer, but to turn around and to force your daughter to go to that wedding like recently after she passed. No, you need to go get some help, and you need to leave that poor girl alone so that when she goes off to do whatever she does, she wants to come back. Ooh, yeah. So far, this guy's taking the cake. This guy's pretty bad. All right. On to our next story. This one also comes from AITA. Am I wrong for disinviting a friend to my birthday after she showed me the food she was bringing? Hey guys, I'm using a throwaway for this one. So I, 17 female, am having my 18th at my house. It's just a dinner with my closest friends. I told everyone they may bring food if they like, but I'm going to do some cooking, like some barbecue food, and then ordering some pizza. My guy friend, Ryan, asked if he could bring a mutual friend we have, Emily, since they're dating now. I told him, yeah, sure, because he was going to leave early anyway. She offered to make food, and I told her that would be really nice, but she didn't have to. She insisted. I made a group chat of people coming over, and I invited Emily to it. I sent a message talking about when to come, what to wear, whatever. An important thing in the message was about allergies. I have a friend coming over with a serious peanut allergy. I have never sent them I've never seen them have a reaction, but I've been told it gets pretty bad. I wrote in the message to triple check your food doesn't have nuts and to be aware of cross contaminating. Everyone read the message, some replied. Emily did a thumbs up to said message. Last night, me and Emily were talking and she mentioned the food she made. I told her to send me a picture and it was a cake. The cake looked like something my mom had made before and it contained nuts. I asked if it had nuts and she said yes, but not a lot, and my friend could just not eat the cake. I told her I'd rather her just not bring it. She then got mad and said she had gone through the trouble of making the cake, so she's bringing it or she's not coming. I told her that I told her then she's not coming because I was clear my friend's allergy and even cross contamination was asked to be checked. So why would I allow her to bring the whole cake? And she said it was disrespectful to disinvite her and that she is Ryan's girlfriend. And if he's going, she's going. I told her no, it's my party and I don't want her there anymore because she's acting like a child. She stopped texting me, but then I got a call from Ryan saying that I was being a massive loser and she spent ages on that cake. I said, I don't care if it took her 2 whole weeks to make the cake. I was specific from the beginning about what you could and couldn't bring. The only thing you couldn't bring was something with nuts. The parts where I'm talking to these two may be where I'm wrong. I asked if she's incompetent of reading and comprehension and if she really doesn't know any other cake recipe. He said I was being a loser and hung up on me. Ryan is telling everyone him and Emily are not attending because I called them names and rejected Emily's cake. A lot of friends, mostly ones that are not coming to the party, are saying it was whack to let her make something and then uninvite her because of what she made and she put effort into the cake for my birthday. There are only 3 people saying I'm not a problem, and one of them is my friend with the nut allergy. My party is tomorrow, and I kind of want perspective on this before then. Am I wrong? All right. Um, no, you're not wrong. Why would you be wrong for this? No, I mean, you said it clear from the get-go. I don't know how many weeks before the the birthday party you told them, but I mean, when you make a group chat and you tell everybody you cannot put nuts in it, no peanuts, because we have somebody coming who has a really bad allergy and we don't want it to get any bad for them. So you can't have anything with nuts. You can't have anything that's cross contaminated. No, you made your things clear. Did you get a little harsh at the end saying that she's incompetent and that she can't read and can't bake? Yeah, I mean, you were kind of mean about that. But in the sense of telling her, no, you can't come and do not bring this cake. No, you're not. You're definitely not the problem. The problem is this person made something and was completely inconsiderate of somebody else and is now making it your problem because she was inconsiderate. Yeah, no, I wouldn't turn around on that. This guy's all this girl's awful. And I feel bad for the boyfriend because the boyfriend probably doesn't agree with it either, but he's young. You know, they're 17, 18 years old. He's probably just in the I'm gonna do what I can to make sure that she doesn't, tweak out on me. I'm gonna try and make sure that she isn't a problem for me. Let's read some comments. First comment says, "You know what this is. She's marking her territory. Your requests, unimportant. Her efforts, valiant. Look closely at the people on the other side of this dispute. They may be showing you right here that they've already decided which side they're on when the coming split happens. Unfortunately, this is just a part of growing up. Stick to your guns or risk losing real friends and the 3 who stood by you." Yeah, no, that's beautiful advice. Yeah, no, you can definitely tell it's getting ready to explode a little more than that. But you did exactly what you were supposed to do by taking care of your friend and saying, "No, we're just not doing that. That's not what we're doing." And that's just you just have to either get on or get out. Second comment says, "You need to tell every friend who's given you grief that you specifically told Emily that she could not bring anything with nuts. She made a cake with nuts anyways and insisted that she was going to bring it even though you said no. That is why she's disinvited." And then somebody else responded to that saying, "Add that Emily also responded to the no nuts conversation with a thumbs up. So she got the information." Yeah, I mean, it doesn't get much clearer than that. I mean, you've told them these are the rules by which we are interacting with each other, and that either you can meet those things and you can go. And anybody who's arguing, if you screenshot that and you send that out and say, "No, hey, this is where she responded, where I told everybody, I told everybody a week ago, don't make anything with nuts in it," and she responded saying yes, and then immediately just chose to do it anyway. At that point, yeah, no, then you reap what you sow. I told you what was going to happen. One more comment here. Not the problem. And I'd put the truth in the group chat. While I appreciate Emily's efforts on the cake, it violated the one rule that was clearly stated about food, and that was it was to contain no nuts. This was not a preference thing, but a safety issue regarding allergies. When I asked Emily not to bring the cake, she issued an ultimatum that it was either her and the cake or nothing. So I picked the option that upholds guest safety. I'm sorry that this discussion escalated and I did not handle it properly at that point. Hopefully, we can all move past this. Yeah, honestly, um, I, I mean, I would send that whole thing. I'd probably just copy and paste it. But yeah, yeah, no, this is a situation where I bet you that Emily girl has ulterior motives and um what's it called has ulterior motives and all that stuff. We did have a couple edits, but I didn't want to read them yet till after we got through some of the comments. All right, there's 4 edits. This is edit number 1. The cake is something like a spongy cake, but it's not an actual birthday cake with frosting. I really don't know how to explain it, but it's seen more as a treat cake where I live, if that makes any sense at all. Um, three things. This is edit number two. Three things. I'm a girl, guys. The friend with the allergy is also a guy. Also, the comments calling my posts fake are boring at this point. I'm not responding to heaps of comments because there are more than 1,000 of them. Boo hoo to the guy cussing me out in the comments because my name is Cupcake Lad. So it has to mean my story is fake because I'm a boy. I'm Australian, at least. So, um, I'm Australian also, so at least where I live, lad is a common term I use in a joking way to address. It's gonna sound crazy, guys and girls. Well, and lastly, I did thank her before she made the cake. When she told me she was gonna bring one, I said that was really sweet and thanked her for bringing a cake slash thinking to make one for me. I'm responding to comments, but obviously I didn't expect the post to blow up like it did, so it might take me a while. Third update. Guys, please look up allergies that can be airborne before you comment. It's not propaganda or being insensitive. I'm not going to debate whether my friend's allergies are really that serious. To the point of the point of the post was asking if I was wrong for what I called her and disinviting her. I wasn't asking for your opinion or medical advice regarding the allergy. Fourth edit. For the love of all things holy, if you think my post is fake, just keep scrolling. Do not comment or DM me about mistakes or other things. I don't care. Yeah, she really hated the whole, or they really hated the whole fake thing. That's so funny. That is really funny. But yeah, at the end of the day, you're not wrong here. Emily is just the problem, and she's got to go. And I think if you share that information with everybody else will be able to everybody else will be able to communicate that with them as well. All right, let's get on to our last story. All right, our last story comes from r slash am I overreacting? Am I overreacting for asking my wife to stay at her mom's after I caught her putting something odd in my coffee? I, 46 male, am really shaken up and need advice to know if I went too far. My wife, 49 female, and I have been married for 4 years, together for 7. She's always been so kind, always making my morning coffee, and we've had a great life together. English isn't my first language. I speak it well, but sometimes I struggle to explain feelings, so bear with me. For the past few weeks, I've been feeling off about drinking my coffee, dizzy, nauseous, and sometimes my hands just shake. I thought maybe it's work stress or something that I was eating. But 2 days ago, I came home early and I saw my wife in the kitchen dropping some kind of powder in the coffee mug from a small unmarked vial. It wasn't sugar or creamer. It looked strange, like medicine or worse. When she saw me, she slipped the vial in her pocket and said it was just a new coffee mix. But her voice was shaky and she wouldn't look at me. That evening, I asked her calmly to tell me what it was. She said it was a natural supplement to help me feel better, but she couldn't say what it was or why there was no label. I got scared. Those symptoms I had been having aren't normal, and she's never hidden things before. I told her I needed space to think and asked her to stay at her mom's for a few days. She got upset, started crying, and said I was overreacting for breaking her trust. She left last night, and now she isn't texting me, saying things like, it's nothing harmful and I'm making a big deal out of nothing. I kept the vial, but I'm too nervous to test it. I love her, she's my everything, but I'm scared she might be putting something bad in my coffee. Am I overreacting for asking her to leave? I can't sleep, and I keep checking the locks on the door, feeling paranoid in my own home. Please tell me if I'm wrong here. Ooh, ooh. Um, all right. If you think that somebody is poisoning you, the number one thing you should be doing is do not eat it, do not drink it, do not consume any more of it. You save it and you have to go get it tested. You know, and that's just in general advice. You just need to go get it tested because you don't know. Because I've read stories. I don't I haven't read it on this show yet, but I have read a story where one guy wanted his girlfriend to lose weight. So what he was doing was that he was putting sawdust in her food and in her drinks so that she would feel full and then she would stop eating as much, and it was just making her sick. And I'm like, "Oh, that's terrible," because this might be a situation where she thinks she's trying to help you and is actually making your life worse. Um, so yeah, no, you need the first thing you need to do is go get it tested, and you go make sure you got what's going on. Luckily, it looks like you got the vial, so it looks like you can go test it, but you just need to go get it tested. And And it's very odd for I don't know why she would be sticking anything in your coffee, you know. You're both older. You're both in closer to your 50s now. OP's 46 and the wife is 49. You know, you're getting close to 50 years old. I don't know why you would be doing that now, but hopefully I don't think there's anything wrong, but that's very odd for that to happen. But let's read some comments, see if somebody came up with some stuff. First comment: go get that vial tested. It's better to know what's actually going on than to be in fear of what could be going on. Absolutely. Sometimes the stress of something is actually more detrimental than what's actually going on, right? And most psychologists and most doctors will also tell you that, thinking you might have something is sometimes even worse than actually having it. Thinking instead of the flu you've caught something worse, when in all actuality you just have the flu, because it'll make you feel worse. Um Somebody responded to that comment saying that get the vial tested and get your blood tested too, just to make sure it's not affecting your body horribly. Um, Another comment says, uh, you need to go ahead and call the police and inform them of what happened. Somebody responded to that saying, this isn't something to sit on. This is something that the police should know as soon as possible. All right, let's check out because we actually got two updates for this. So let's check out what's going on. This first update. Thank you all for your response. You guys really helped me clear my head. I was hesitant, but I called 911 and they said they'd look into it. I'm feeling worse each day, dizzy, weak, and my stomach's still off, so I'm heading to the hospital today to get checked out. My wife keeps texting, begging me to come back and saying it was just an herbal energy boost she found online, but she still can't explain why she hid it. I told her to stay at her mom's until I know more. I'm scared and exhausted, but I'll keep you all updated when I get answers. Thank you for making me feel like I'm not going crazy. All right, here's the second update. Hey everyone, I'm at the hospital. Sorry for not keeping y'all updated. I'm not really feeling very well right now. Thank you all so much for the comments and support. The doctor ran some tests and said that there's something off with my blood work, but they don't know exactly what yet. They're sending samples to a lab, and it'll take a couple days to get results. He told me to stay here for observation because of my symptoms with the dizziness, nausea, and the shaking, so it can get worse very quick. I gave the vial to the police when they stopped by earlier, and they're testing it. They didn't say much, but their serious faces freaked me out. My wife keeps calling and texting and sobbing, saying she's so sorry, and it was just some herbal remedy from a friend to help me. But she's still dodging my questions about why she hid it and making my head spin. I told her we can't talk until I'm out of here and know what's going on. She's at her mom's, but her texts are so frantic it's breaking my heart. I love her, but I don't think I could ever trust her again. I'm stuck in this hospital bed and I feel so alone. I'll keep y'all updated when I hear from the lab or the police. Ooh. And that's all we get from that story. There's no third update. We got no extra information. Um oh my goodness. Um wow. She was definitely doing something. Now I don't know what's going on for her to be putting something like that into your drink. I don't know what you do for work. I don't know what your financials are looking like. But when people do stuff like that, it's usually there's something going on. It's like um it's like I'm trying to get money, I'm trying to get the house, there's usually something getting there. And so that's very odd, you know, for out of nowhere to just start legitimately poisoning your significant other. That's kind of a crazy thing to just throw out of left field there. Um, but yeah, with no third update, I hope he's okay. I assume he's okay. Um, with that last comment, yeah, I agree too. You are definitely not going to get back with your wife. Um, you when your wife when you think your wife has been poisoning you, or in this case, when your wife has been proven to poison you, there's no getting back from that. There's no coming back. There's no fixing that. I mean, at the end of the day, you believe that your wife had been poisoning you and physically making you sick for whatever reason it is, whether it's she's found somebody else and trying to get you out the way, or she's looking at the money or the real estate or whatever it may be. Um, but OP looks like he's getting out of there. He's getting things straight. So hopefully everything's good there. And that does it for our stories. Um, we had a little bit of a spectrum of crazy. We had people down there like the boyfriend who almost killed his girlfriend cycling all the way up to, you know, the guy who cheated on his wife with cancer, or this wife who's literally poisoning her husband. Um, I don't know who's worse. I think that the dad cheating on the husband on the dad cheating on the wife with cancer is I think just slightly worse. Oh no, well, no, actually no. I changed my mind. It's definitely the wife poisoning the husband, because me cheating on my wife is definitely not as bad as me killing my wife by poisoning her coffee. Yeah, I definitely think it's now that I'm thinking about it, it's definitely the wife with the coffee. But if you guys have a different approach or um a different mindset on which one you think is definitely the worst person out of this set, let me know down in the comments. Let me know if you think it's Emily and the cake, or if you think it's the guy and his roommate, whichever it may be. I hope you guys enjoyed this episode of Reddit Story Saturday. Hope you guys check in with our next episode. If you enjoyed, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't been around before, and we'll catch you guys on the next episode.